Welcome back to Gil's Arena, presented by Underdog. Whoa, whoa, woo, woo. Coming to you from the Emporium Arcade Bar here in San Francisco, All-Star Weekend 2025. We appreciate everybody in the crowd for pulling up. So, as always, we got the legend and former Warrior, Gilbert Arenas, in the building. And bringing his championship experience to the couch, we got NBA champion of the world with the Golden State Warriors, Swaggy P, Nick Young.
You feel that energy? Do you feel that championship
I feel championship energy.
I love that championship shit.
And we got the bully from Oak Cliff, former #1 pick. Kenyon Martin is on the couch.
What's happening, man?
There he is. I'm gonna just tuck my mic in real quick, out of respect. And we got a special guest pulling up to our arena here in the Bay, founder and CEO of Clutch Sports Group, representing some of the biggest names in the game, negotiated over $5 billion in sports contracts. Rich Paul, welcome back to Gil's Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Rich Paul representing Clutch. Gil, they said we supposed to get our clutch checks. That's what everybody in the chat say. I ain't seen the clutch check yet.
I want my clutch checks.
We want it though.
That means it's $5 billion.
We need some of that $5 billion.
Oh, right to it.
No checks we received. We just talk about the things we like and enjoy. Hey,
I'll take cash too.
Venmo, Cash App, whatever.
Yeah.
But let's get into it. We want to give a special thanks to Anscape for sponsoring these shows out here All-Star Weekend. Make sure you check out my new film, Memes and Nightmares, premiering February 20th on Hulu. Film takes a look at the inside world of NBA Twitter's impact on basketball culture. So shout out to Anscape, Starry, and Spring Hill for helping me take my talents to the big screen. That's Memes and Nightmares, premiering February 20th on Hulu. All right. And of course, if you haven't sign up for Underdog, please download the Underdog app, use promo code GIL, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash, plus a special pick'em. So, Rich, we're gonna get right into it. Last time we had you on the show before the draft, obviously one of your most high-profile clients now, Bronny James, and at that time when we interviewed you, you said Bronny just wanted to hear his name called in the draft. So now we fast forward, he heard his name called, 55th pick by the Lakers. So he got a lot of hate, I think, coming into the league, his first 13 games, trying to figure it out. LeBron was very vocal, saying just give him time. We started to see Bronny really showing what he could do in the G League. I think he's averaging over 20 points a game now in the G League. And in the Lakers' last game before the All-Star break against the Jazz, Bronny put up career-high 9 points, 3 for 4 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3.
Balling. Huh? 8 minutes, right?
In eight of Adam Silver's NBA designated minutes. But you see the discourse. I know you see all the narratives out there. Do you think Bronny will win over his haters with the way that he's been playing?
I think, not to more so make it about Bronny, I just think about when you talk about development, right? And when you talk about opportunity, the problem we got, I see Rashad make a lot of hating comments when he's on the show, but the problem that we got is most people don't understand, and this equates to the people out there in your life as well. When you get your opportunity, in most cases, you're underdeveloped, right? Think about it. When you get your opportunity, in most cases, you're underdeveloped. In the NBA, the issue is those opportunities don't come around multiple of times. So when you see a young man leaving college to go and play in the league, what he's betting is, I'm going to be ready when I get my opportunity. Right? And in most cases, that's not the case. Now, then you talk about, well, I'm comparing a name of somebody to somebody who has been proven consistently for several years. And when you equate that with just the human psychology of, I'm doing bad, so I want you to do bad too. You put all that into the middle of the table, and you get that negative energy. Right? But now put your own children in that position, right? Take sports out of it. The opportunities in life don't come to you often. You have to be ready. Most people can't say when a conversation came my way, I was actually ready to do things because I take myself, for example. There was no opportunity for me. It was told to me there was no opportunity. My readiness came from the way I was able to think at that moment. So in that exact moment, you know what I said? I don't need a title. I don't need a position. I don't need a high salary. I'm gonna make something for myself, right? But most people would have been like, nah, I'm good, or I'm getting it already. I don't need that. You get what I'm saying? And so I put it, we represent a lot of guys in the league, whether they've been in the league 6, 7 years, or whether they've been in the league 6, 7 months. It always goes back to, are you prepared when your opportunity arises? And it may just come from a situation as simple as jogging to the scorer's table to go into the game. Not walking, like jogging, because I want to get in. Or a chase and run through. It don't have to be you scoring 30 points in the game. Just understanding that there's no garbage time in the NBA will get you your next opportunity. It ain't about, because you know, for me, I recruit guys all the time. Most guys that score 30 in college, they don't really do anything in the NBA. It's the opposite, right? It's flipped. So, you know, you can't never worry about what somebody has to say, because that's going to be part of it. And obviously, you guys have a show to do, and there's an entertainment aspect to it. But you just got to allow yourself to continue to put yourself in position to where the next opportunity is given. And Bronny's foundation of who he is as a human being is going to continue to allow that.
Well, I'm the one that's saying let him be the 55th pick, right?
Yeah.
Let him be the 55th pick, let him grow, let him... I feel, I understand NBA minutes are NBA minutes, but he needs the reps, right?
In the G League, absolutely.
He needs more reps. So my thing is,
Yeah.
so we talked about it the other day, and I was like, let him play his uninterrupted G League minutes, and then when their season is over, bring him up, right? Let him go on the road, let him get his bumps out, let him just play through mistakes. This is the plan for him, because we did the same thing with KJ. KJ went down there was a plan for you to let him get that, because his freshman year was interrupted at SC. It was interrupted because of health reasons, this, that, and the third. Trying to get your feet wet within the season, it's tough for a coach to implement
For anybody.
freshmen, for one.
Yeah, 100%.
So he's behind the 8 ball, so to speak, but he's in a good position now that you guys have put him in with the G League thing, just letting him play 40 minutes a night.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get these minutes, you're going to get these shots, let him do that, because it'll benefit him in the long run. We ain't saying he's going to be his daddy, no, but this time is crucial for him, because he's still fragile in basketball, period. He's still fragile.
Yeah.
So, and I told Josiah, they always, every time he plays, every time he does something, everybody is quick to Bronny. I told him, no, we're not going to be a part of that.
Yeah.
We're going to let him be the 55th pick, right?
Right, but that comes, you know, we can't have it both ways, you know, that comes with the territory as well.
But
you know, that's part of it.
As us, though, we going to let him be that.
Well, you guys are experienced. You're talking about 3 guys that played in the league at a high level and produced in the league at a high level. But I feel you, because your son is not who you were as a basketball player.
Yeah, because my son is the 52nd pick.
And I watched you on the show just say you want him to have the opportunity. And I think it's for all. But one thing I think people get misconstrued about the G League, the original name of it was the D League.
D League, yes.
Which was simply for development.
Supposed to be.
Right. But the G League today...
That's what they told y'all.
Yeah.
That's what they told us.
The G League for today has a much better development criteria to it. And if you look at the draft, we've had pretty much everybody from the 3rd pick in the draft all the way to the last pick in the draft have some time in the G League. Teams are getting... And I represent DeJounte Murray, played a full season in the G League and was the starting point guard in the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, right? That development. Corey Joseph played in the G League, right? Justin Edwards just got converted in a contract, but he played in the G League. I embrace the G League.
Well,
I tell teams all the time, Yes, my guy will go to the G League. I want him to go to the G League, but paid as an NBA player, because there's a difference.
I'm with you. But them going to the G League it's what y'all have as a foundation, as a company, and the work that they didn't put in pre-draft and other things, that when they get to the G League, they have a foundation, because them people not down there developing them kids and getting them ready for the NBA.
Well, it also matters what team you're on.
Absolutely.
Going into the G League, because obviously I think all teams aren't created equal.
Yeah.
Right? We understand that. I think I've said this before. Yeah. The teams that I've been extreme supporters of, just because I think it gives you a little more years.
Absolutely.
You know, some teams is like going to Granny's house. You know, Granny's house, you're gonna get that development, chores, discipline. You know, you can't sleep till 2 o'clock and not at Granny's house. You got to get up at 9. So it gives you those life, you know, characteristics that you need to
be a pro.
Yeah, to be a pro and to be an adult, right? So I think that's important. But you know, again, critique is part of our industry, no matter what your last name is. And again, I like to make it about all the young people, not just one. But again, everybody develop different. And when it clicks, right? When it clicks, it clicks. Sometimes it clicks in year 1, sometimes it don't click till year 5. But the issue is, in year 5, when it clicks, because we see it all the time, it's like, damn, dude in TBT, he nice. Why he ain't in the pros? Because when he got his opportunity, he wasn't ready. Yeah. So it just depends on, you need those things to intersect at the right time.
But I believe like them last minutes, like the other night, I feel like that helps him more than the G League. From a confidence perspective,
yeah, because you starts to be, anybody, again, that's why there's no such thing as garbage time, right? When you are at the end of a bench on an NBA team and you get those minutes and you produce in those minutes, whether you're up 30 or down 30, all you want is the validation from your teammates in the locker room. You feel good about that. And now, what y'all didn't have and what these young kids today do have is social media. Right? You didn't have everybody hiding behind a name on social media making a comment. You know, you might have had to deal with the ESPN shows or the Fox shows, but that was it. Now there's multiple opinions from I don't know how many different people, and you don't know how that affects a young man or a young woman for that matter. But when you do well, and you seek that validation, you have to build on those moments. So I do agree with you, Nick, as it pertains to just seeing a 3 go down. You know, now, you know, scoring points, I get all of that. And I, like I say to my guys, you know, we have several guys around the league, and I say to them, when you're a young player, don't sit at the end of the bench. Especially, the only way I'm sitting at the end of the bench is if I'm getting some nourishment. If I'm sitting next to Gil at the end of the bench and he's showing me why this person should do this and why you shouldn't do that, great. Other than that, I have to be in the action. Because if I'm not getting in the game, then I at least got to pick up something during the game to help me in the event I do get an opportunity.
Yeah, people don't understand the end of the bench, since I was that player. It is a confidence booster. Right, the D League was in and I didn't want to go down there because those wasn't NBA players down there, right? Those are developmental players, right? My first bucket against Cleveland, right, layup, right? That was important to me. You couldn't tell me shit in the locker room because you can't take that away from me. I'm in the history books, 1 layup. I remember we're down damn near 20 against the Hawks, and I was 2 for 10. Got a standing ovation for the effort I gave, right? Cheering my name. It wasn't about it wasn't about, you know, the performance. It was about the effort, and the crowd appreciated that.
But do you guys know, right? You don't have to go. I don't know if people know that. If you have a guaranteed contract, not a 2-way contract, if you have a guaranteed NBA contract, you don't have to go.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You don't have to go.
This is a suggestion.
They're asking you,
Yes.
and you can say, yes, I would allow myself to go. You don't have to
But
go.
do you think they go now because they get to play? Because, you know, for the most part, we want to play.
Yeah, but you also don't, again, if they have a plan for you, you want to go through with that plan because what people don't understand is the NBA is such a fragile thing. Think about it. You've had guys that's played 20 plus years and never not started. That job has been taken for that long. There's not many jobs there. So when you're asked to do something that's a part of your development, you have to decide what type of employer or employee you want to be. You could be a
compliant?
A compliant or non-compliant, which is why when they call you sometimes at the draft and they say, hey, Rich, if we take this kid, would you mind him going down to the G League? Hell no, I won't mind him going down. As a matter of fact, he needs to go. The problem is, it's the surrounding cast who's never been in our industry, don't know our business, and think just because they scored 30 at 24-hour fitness that it should be easy. It ain't easy, right? And when you do, this is what I tell my guys, okay, you're a rookie. I don't care if you score 30 a night as a rookie. You know why I don't care about that? Because we can't do nothing about it. I need you to score 8, 12, 17. So by the end of your third year, and I'm sitting with your GM, now I'm talking about your progression every year. You progress, your the things you did right. You was on the first bus all year, voluntary, time you was there. What time did you leave the practice facility? 3:30. What time did you get there? 8:30. What time practice start? 11:30. You get what I'm saying? These are the little details.
That's what people don't get it.
That people don't get. So I'm not the agent that fired me. Who cares? You're never gonna get the bullshit from me because I'm not a bullshitter. It ain't gonna happen. And y'all said y'all wanted to get paid by Clutch. I mean, which Clutch?
I don't know. You still owe me money.
So there's no pressure. You know what I'm saying?
You still owe me money from a
No.
car
We're not gonna.
from a car
No.
game a long time ago.
Okay, we ain't gonna go. But what I'm saying is, we ain't gonna go there, Nick. But what I'm saying is, it's just like you don't. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta get these young men the game because they're not going to get a consistent opportunity. There's a draft every single year, bro.
It is.
So you're around a lot of young players. How many of those players, you don't got to obviously name names or anything like that, but really love the game and are trying to soak up that info, get that nourishment, like you said?
I mean, I tell guys all the time coming into the league, everybody's not going to love the game like you do, right? When a guy make $200 million, do we still love the game? Guy make $50 million, do you still love the game? You know, because most people dream of getting to the NBA, not necessarily getting there and being great while being there. It's a different dynamic. And I think also we got to understand that the league is our partner. It's not a bank. So if you look at the league as a bank, then you're only going to think about it from a transactionary perspective. I'm not doing something, I'm only doing what's getting me paid. Well, what that does is that saturates your routine. Because if I'm only doing what's getting me paid and you equate that to scoring points, now you're playing a style of basketball that's not conducive to winning. So now you're lessening your value because you're saturating your routine and it's causing you to be lesser of a professional, which is what we're seeing in abundance. And then now you combat that with the likes of the Instagram and all the other nonsense that's feeding the ego, and you look up and you're like, damn, dude was nice, but he only played 8 years. Well, that's because by the 8th year, the shit got bigger than the cat, so they get rid of the cat.
So
when you said a team has a plan for young players, I don't like the ideal of that because a moment changes a player's mindset. It gives a player confidence, right? So you can send me in a G League 30 games and my mind don't change. You can play me one game against my hero, and I do a move against him, and that turned me into a pro, right? You know, the NBA is all about mindset.
I agree.
The skill and the talent that's the bones already, right? So if I got a 42-inch vertical, it's a 42-inch vertical in the G League, it's a 40-inch vertical, what's the name? But what ends up happening is there's always moments in someone's career that I dunked on Kenyon, right? Dunking on Bol is cool. I dunked on the defensive player of the year.
Is tough.
But I'm saying, I dunked on the defensive player of the year. My mind, the confidence done kicked in another gear. My swagger's different. You can't, there's no road for that.
But you have a point, but here's the thing. Now we have to be dependent of the coach having a feel to deviate from the overall plan. Prime example, it's my birthday. Okay, do we care enough to start you on your birthday, or I'm going back home? Okay, if I'm going back home, right? I'm from wherever, little city outside of Chicago, we're going home to play the Bulls. Is the coach gonna have enough wherewithal to maybe give me 15 minutes? Or maybe start me?
Remember those.
Right? But here's the thing. It's so tough because we don't know the conversation the coach has had with the GM, right? We don't know the pressures of what's taking place. You don't know who's about to get traded, right? Or you don't know what the conversation has been about. And so you have to hope these things. But also, someone in my position, I also send those little reminders. What's up, coach? Hope everything's good, just let you know. Man, you know Chris from around here, or JJ from around here, you know. Just in case you was thinking about playing tonight. I don't know if I ain't saying you should or you shouldn't, but you know, because sometimes coaches have so much on their plate that things slip, and they're not gonna be able to think about everything else that we're thinking about, especially from a family dynamic, because from a family dynamic, they live in one world, your world. Your family only lived in the Gilbert Arenas world, the Nick Young world, the Kenyon Martin world. Everybody else didn't matter. So I have to take those things, I try to take those things into consideration, but Gil, you are absolutely right as it pertains to those moments, and we just talked about that, right? So, but again, it's a balancing act, man, and I wish maybe AI can help us understand those type of things when it comes to the teams, because it is. It's really a balancing act.
But I feel like both could help, though. I think, like, if you go down to the G League, get your confidence right, start, like, busting people's ass, I think you build your confidence, like, I could play in the league now. I could do this shit in the league, and then you go on the court. And
you think you can go on the court and get fucked up? Yeah.
You'll try it. When you wouldn't try it by just sitting there because you worry about, like, coach or mistake.
But, Nick, you know this, and sometimes it's just about these simple things. The G League sometimes is just about, okay, we want him to catch and shoot, cut, right, set screens, come out of the screen the right way. So it ain't even about the points, it's just seeing if every game you're doing these simple things better. Okay, on the defensive end, we're gonna red, we exit out a certain way. Can they grasp it? Because again, AAU, we know, has ruined our game to no end, right? NIL now has become even more challenging to our game to no end. Then you talk about what the experts have to say or how you should play a certain way. By the time a kid get to a university, they've played every which way but the right way. So now when you get to the league, which is the highest level of playing the game, you have to know how to play the game the right way.
For sure.
And depending on where you're drafted, if you're playing for something, you might not play at all. Some of these kids have never been in a position to where they never play at all. So now they slouching down. They got their hood on the uniform. So now, guess what? You ain't never getting in the game. So it's a lot of it goes back to character. The character within you dictates a lot of your opportunity, big or small. Because you don't, by the way, BJ Boston. BJ Boston, right? McDonald's All-American, went to Kentucky, didn't have a great year, went in the 50s, got guaranteed money from the Clippers, never played. He never played. This summer, he could have went to a couple different teams. I sent him to San Antonio by design. By design. That month and a half of San Antonio, when he got his opportunity with the Pelicans, prepared him. The Clippers did a great job with him, don't get me wrong. But mentally, he wasn't really ready yet to comply fully. He was complying some, but not complying fully. That month and a half in San Antonio allowed him to then gain what? A better perspective. And by the time he got to the Pelicans, he ready to go. Now the injuries happen. Now he take advantage of the opportunity. So there's layers to it, for sure.
So something you said a minute ago about teaching guys certain things in the G League that they should be able to grasp, right?
Yeah.
But it can't only be a one-time message or a two-time message, right?
No, it has to be Shawshank Redemption.
Right.
Every time, all the time.
And correcting the bad behavior in real time.
In real time, absolutely.
And that's what you don't get. So you see these guys, they skilled. They was taking top 5, top 10, the lottery this year, lottery this year. You like, the masses be like, what's missing?
Right. There's no top in the NBA. There's 450.
So
there's no top. You're amongst 450. That's it.
That's it.
Because your ranking is not like rollover minutes for your mobile carrier. You know, it don't matter. It's 450, man. That's it. Go ahead, Josiah. You ready?
Oh, you already know. I'm just enjoying this. But let's talk a little bit about, y'all spend that game. Trade deadline. Saw a lot of big blockbuster deals go down. Obviously, Luka going to the Lakers, AD going to the Mavs. Talk about De'Aaron Fox going to the Spurs, Zach LaVine going to the Kings, Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors. A lot of your players and clients involved in those deals.
Yeah.
When you look at, was this the craziest trade deadline that you've seen since you've been an agent?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the busiest ones I've been a part of. And obviously, I had B.I. go to Toronto, De'Aaron go to San Antonio, Zach go to SAC, and obviously the biggest one was AD going to the Mavs. Look, I think for me, what I've started to realize is free agency is the new trade deadline, right? Because as you see teams in the summer have this money, they're not spending it, they're trading in players into their space, which is drying up the market. So now you have to start to reposition guys from a value perspective. Once they traded, their bird rights go with them. So because of the second apron is now starting to allow a different flexibility within the confinement of all the rules and restrictions. And so that's how I looked at it. In De'Aaron's case, he had spent 8 years in SAC. It's pretty good, but it was time for a change, and I personally wanted to place him next to Wemby to grow, right? And he thought that made a lot of sense too. It's his choice, but that's where he wanted to be. And I was blessed enough and able enough to make that happen, right? In B.I.'s case, he had a couple different situations he could have went in, and Toronto was more aggressive, and we was able to get his extension done right then and there, so he don't have to worry about the summer, right? In Zach's case, a freshness for him, but the Bulls are going in a different direction, and so it's a partnerial thing in most cases. 99.9% of the time, I'm going to know what's going on. The one time I didn't was the one time we all didn't, per se, know what was going on. It was a shock to everybody. Who was in it was a shock, right? I always knew the affinity that was had for AD from Nico's perspective, so the destination wasn't really a shock. The timing of it was a shock, and obviously who was involved was a shock. But you don't move mountains with everybody knowing. You can't. And so I'm glad I didn't know. And I'm glad that whoever else didn't know, because it probably wouldn't have happened if you did know. Because now you start to open up the opinions and the conversations and different cans of worms, and so you can't get those things done with people knowing. And everybody gonna have their there are issues about it. That's not my place. Only thing I can do is, whatever happens, guy get there, okay, well, how do we make this situation the best we can make it is how I look at it.
So you talk about the AD Luka trade going down. When Shams first breaks that news, everybody, me personally, I'm heavy on NBA Twitter. I'm like, oh, he got hacked. Like, there's
well,
no way.
I knew before that, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying you know a little bit before that. But when you heard it, I'm just gonna go back to you. When you heard it, you said it's a shock. So what's it like for you? Like, huh? Like, are you?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, you know, obviously anybody can be traded. There's only anybody can be traded. We see that, right?
We feel like there's only like 2 guys in the league now that
can't be based upon
unless I want to go
contractual. Yeah, but even still, even if you have that, again, and somebody is saying they want to trade you, even if you have that restriction, you still don't feel wanted at that point because they want to trade you. So it don't matter. You may not want to, may protect you from going somewhere you don't want to go, but in this case, you're still going to be traded or you still feel unwanted. But yeah, look, it's business at the end of the day, and the contracts travel. So it ain't like you get traded and your contracts start all over again. Your salary travel too, so that's part of it.
Speaking of contracts, right? We was talking about this the other day. If you have that in your
contract, yeah,
that clause,
yeah,
and you apply it, you waive it.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that it should extend?
Oh, it should carry over with you?
Yeah, to the next team.
Once you waive it, just take Bradley Beal's situation. I don't want to speak on Take Bradley Beal's situation. He waived it to get out of Washington to go to Phoenix. It doesn't say trades, plural.
Right, yeah.
Right? Once you waive it, we in agreement, me and Rashad talk like that should be it. Like you shouldn't get, like he was saying, like you don't get multiple mulligans. Like you get one.
Well, if I negotiate it, it should stay as long as you...
until the wheels fall off. But I'm saying, you get my point?
Yeah, but I understand.
Because there's a clause in the contract that you put in there for specific reasons.
I understand exactly what you're saying. But what I was saying was, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. What I'm saying is, regardless what's there, once it's known that you're not wanted, it don't matter what's in your contract. You're going to feel a certain way. Now it's just about getting somewhere where I want to go. And there's 2 sides to every trade.
Yeah.
You gotta be unwanted here, but wanted elsewhere. If you're unwanted here and unwanted everywhere else, then it don't matter anyway. And so
one man's trash is another man's trash.
In most cases. But in some cases, one man's trash is everybody's trash.
Trash is trash, right?
So again, it's just one of those situations where I think we all have to understand the business of basketball, which we don't, and everybody does not. The fan aspect of it is what it is what makes our game go. But like I said, the contracts travel. If you can get to a place where you want it, you make the best of that, and you produce to re-up again. That's all you can do.
Yeah. So we talked about one of those guys. Let's talk about the other one of those guys. We talk about from the Lakers side now, getting Luka Doncic, revitalizing the squad. We're super happy to see that deal made. Obviously, we're a pro Lakers show. We're not traditional.
Well, hey, listen, I'm glad you didn't know about the trade, brother.
That's why you're here.
I'm glad you didn't know, goddammit.
Nah, but the thing about it, again, like the league is the league, right? I think some things are going to be bound to happen no matter what for whomever. And when people make trades, some making them for now, some making them for later, right? And so it all depends on the perspective of who's making those decisions. On my end, that's not my role. It's not my job. I can't decide when a team should feel like they want to be committed to a certain, level of winning, right? And then, there's entertainment in our sport. You have a lot of layers to the business of basketball from the organization side mainly, right? And so, you have to replenish in a lot of ways. And you know, the initial shock of it is what it is. You know, no one wants to feel like they're not wanted. Some of it carries, you know, kind of carries on. But I always try to tell my guys, just put it behind you and move. There's only 30 teams, by the way.
But what if in a situation like Dodgers Connect and Mark Williams, where that shit don't like
who what?
Mark Williams and Dodgers Connect?
Again.
Like,
look, I think y'all have been a part of trades and been a part of physicals. That's a tough situation because you're going from the biggest of all stages, or to the biggest of all stages, and then have to go back, you know.
Fucking Charlotte.
And again, I value every organization, but I know what you're saying.
Oh, no, that's just my personal opinion. That's not yours, Rich.
The moment of it.
The moment for the clients, right?
That is true because every organization has
that
a salary
feeling,
cap.
for the players.
So
they all got. And that's not your opinion. I've been to
No,
Charlotte.
but I know what you're saying.
I've been to Charlotte. I'm not wrong.
I've been in that situation before. I was working at camp, and they check us into the hotel, and they got the DVD player, and they was able to go to the spa and the whole nine for that night. The next morning, I get a knock on the door. Next thing I know, I'm in the dorm of the college in the city that we was in. No TV, no nothing. I felt the pain. But, you know, again, I didn't suspect that, right, when it first happened, but you have to go through the physical, and maybe they saw something that they didn't like.
Yeah, but to go back to that situation.
Like Bron seen Mark was like, man,
no,
take
man,
your ass back. We don't want
See,
your ass. It came out, his leg was limp.
You can't do any of that, nah. Listen.
Thank you, Legend. But let's talk about from the Lakers side, because Luka deal goes down. I think a lot of people in the media are like, oh, the Lakers are on Luka's timeline now. They make that Mark Williams trade. It seems like, no, we're trying to be a winning basketball team now. You got LeBron, year 22, still playing at a high level. Obviously, father time undefeated. We know at some point he's going to have to hang him up. But does Lakers making a trade for a guy like Luka, bringing in another superstar, does that now prolong that timeline a little bit more and say, well, damn, maybe I might stick around just a little bit longer than I thought?
You know, I would say, you know, this is uncharted territory for us, right? There's never been somebody this late in their career playing at this level to even to have that be a decision to be made, right? So that's tough. I think if I was in the organization's position, there has to be a balancing act because, from a bias perspective, you want somebody to go all in, but you have to do that with restraint a lot of times because you're trying to do for the now and the later again. So it's a tough spot to be in, but I can say to you, you know, mentally, you want to play competitive basketball. Nothing is going to guarantee a championship anyway, no matter what team you're on. We've seen the 04 Lakers go into Detroit and lose, you know, with all the names that they had. And, you know, we've seen the things not pan out. But we'll see, you know. I think right now, currently today, there's so much parity around the league, right? I think the Cavaliers really won the trade deadline in terms of where they're at as a team and what they actually needed to put them in the best position to get past that second round-esque type of thing. And then when you look at being able to get a franchise-level point guard that San Antonio was able to do, that's big. Hey, being able to, again, soothe the minds of the Steph Curry and Draymond with Jimmy Butler, bringing somebody in there that's experienced and that could do a lot of different things that leads to winning. You know, I think people get it twisted in terms of the Luka trade. Dallas got AD.
Yeah.
Like, talking about 40, 25, you know, but we go off style points too. So the ball handler, Gil was a ball handler. He's never gonna be looked at the way Kenyon was looked at because Kenyon was a big. There's a lot of different things you can look at in terms of production, but then you gotta equate what else is on the team. So age, all that stuff goes into a factor, but again, it's just so much parity in the league. Anybody could. I wouldn't be surprised who won a championship this year. anybody could win the championship this year. Now, obviously, we would say Boston is probably the favorites as the ex-champs.
I think Milwaukee got better.
knows?
Milwaukee got better.
You don't want to play Milwaukee in the first round healthy. Do you? That's what I'm saying. Do you want to play? I don't know. The Sixers haven't been doing that great, but if they made the playoffs, do you want to play them in the first round healthy? I don't know. Like, it's just so many different. I'm asking the question. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, when you think about the parity in the league, has there ever been this much parity in the league? From top to bottom.
But I think it's fun, though.
I love it. I love it. You know, I think it's great.
Gil, who's winning the championship in 2026?
Tell him.
You can tell him.
You're going to wear the whole uniform. Like,
Come on, baby, LA Lakers, man.
I mean,
All right,
for 27 out of 30 teams win a championship, I'm good.
20. So there's only 3 teams. Okay.
There's only 3 teams I don't have a client on, so I'm
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
I'm good. So it don't matter to me. I pray for my guys to play well and stay healthy. Whoever wins, it don't matter.
You got to play on Boston?
No.
See? That's
I
all
got
we
a
need
coach,
to know.
though. I'll celebrate with Sam Cassell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But let's shift it over to college now. We've seen.
yeah, I wanted to ask
Go
them, why
ahead.
did Sam haven't got a head job yet?
Man, that's a tough question, man. You know.
Sam is great.
Again, we go back to opportunity. But I think his time is coming. I think his time is coming. I think, you know, he's been a pro about it. Yeah, he's been a pro about it.
That's always been the question. Like, you see other guys come after him.
After him,
His
get jobs.
resume of being under certain coaches
Yeah.
is like that.
It just
So
takes one person to get the opportunity, though.
It is. And then I just think, like you said, his personality is not, he's not going to kick the door in, like demand that you do these things.
And he's not going to complain
Don't let it
about
come
it.
to him.
Yeah, that's just Sam. Yeah.
So that's, yes, shout out to Sam Cassell, man.
Shout out Sam Cassell. So we got one more question for you, Rich. We talk about NIL nowadays in the shift, and me and Gil are talking about this a lot. Son Elijah, obviously, going to USC now. But seeing guys, no more fight-ons, man. Cut that shit out. But players, obviously,
I forget it.
Clutch now shifting to the college space, repping players like Juju. Just with the NIL and players before they get to the league, getting all these big bags offered to them. We've heard stories about college recruits now getting anywhere $4, $5, $6 million offers for NIL. But how do you just help them keep their love of the game and make sure that bread coming in don't take away from the ultimate goal of trying to get that $100 million, $200 million contract, as opposed to this quick hit with this little bit of bread now, being a college athlete trying to make to that next level?
I struggle with NIL, I ain't gonna lie. I
Shit,
do.
me too.
It would be different if the kids was getting the money at such a young age and it was going into an experience infrastructure. It would be I would think about it a lot different. You know, I ain't gonna hate the game because, again, I kind of disrupted it in a lot of ways with the Darius Baisley $1 million internship years ago. So I get that aspect of it, but basketball and football is different, right? So I believe from a football perspective, you should be able, or you should sign multi-year deals with that university, because it puts the university in a very tough spot when you take the money and then you transfer and it puts the integrity of the game in a very tough spot. One aspect.
So they should commit to that school. They got to stay for 3 before they can go to the NFL.
But the kids deserve the money too, because now you're starting to teach them in a very professional manner. When you make an obligation, you have to come through, because you can't do it when you go to the next level. So that's kind of creating a bad kind of precedence there. From a basketball perspective, again, if you go to a school that's giving me the most money, then what that tells me is you really feel like you don't need that school, because you're not making a decision based upon who's helping me become, or who's helping me take the better steps towards where I'm actually trying to go. I know Gil's in this situation. I'm calling Gil every day about his son, trying to get the, you know.
Well, I'm calling him
done.
too, Rich. I'm calling.
No, he's worth calling about. So you don't have to.
No, I'm trying to get Elijah too. 360.
There's no
deal.
judgment for me. I have no pride. He's that good. But nevertheless, what his parents, the approach that they've taken on the process, I get it. But again, Gil's experience based upon where he came from, the average family is not going to have that outlook on it. Yeah. And so now you have all these NIL representation groups that's most money, most money, most money. And now you have to ask yourself this, because we've all seen it. Do I want to get a lot now, or do I want to get a little forever? Because we've all seen it. We've all seen a guy be rich today and poor for the next 10 years. So that decision that you decide to make, if it's me, my son, and again, I don't want to count nobody's pockets, but if I have to take a little bit less, but it's the better situation for me holistically, I'm going to take the little bit less because I know it's going to position me to make a lot more for a longer period of time.
And that's the decision that, you know, when me and Elijah was talking about different schools, right? You had Kentucky, Arizona, USC. And the conversation we was having is, right now he's projected top 4, right? That's what we're looking at. I don't give a fuck about your money because there's not enough money you can give us for him to be 4 today and come in here, he's 10 tomorrow. Yeah. Right? Your money is meaningless to the bigger picture, right? Between 4 and 10, that's damn near almost $20 million. So you trying to give us $2 million to come to your school to lose 18, that's stupid.
That's great math.
And that's what I teach him. I said, listen,
real.
if this school is offering you $2 million and you might go 10, this school's offering you $300,000, but you're top 4, motherfucker, this is the school. Right? This is what we're talking about. You don't want for no money, you don't need for no money. You got a damn Cybertruck you can't even drive because you ain't got a fucking license yet.
Take that
just sitting in the motherfucker collecting
I seen
dust.
the keys in the crib. Yeah, the keys are just sitting.
No, but
so,
I
that's
agree
our
with that. Now, everybody can't take that ideal approach, but there's a world where you can take some of that and say, okay, yeah, you offer me more, but take some of the money that you offer me and pour that into my development, my plan, your care, right? Because in college, everybody's trying to win that game. Every game is the national championship game. I've been through this. I've seen kids come in top 3 and then go undrafted. How does that work? Yeah. That can't work like that. No, seriously.
UCLA products right there.
No slander to the youth.
That can't work like that. And the problem is, there's no guarantee that kid is going to get another opportunity to get that guaranteed money. So you have to really think about it holistically. So, but again, I don't want to be disingenuous about it. I think our kids deserve the money, but we just have to think about it holistically.
So, Rich, we want to thank you for taking some time out to pull up to our
Before I just have a yes or no question.
Okay.
If it was NIL today, is there enough money in college basketball for LeBron James? When he was coming out, would there have been enough money in the NCAA and NIL for LeBron James? Just a yes or no question. I know you got to get out of here.
Well, that's not a yes or no question, but what I will say, if it was NIL today, coming in how we was thinking, it definitely wouldn't have just been about what they was paying the money, right. Because now you have to align all of your partners and make them value this decision and plan for and spend while, because here's what most people don't ask, and I'm gonna get this away to the agents out there. Y'all can use this in y'all next pitch. This is what most people don't know.
Don't give it all.
When you talk to a brand, I don't give it all to them. They can have this one. When you talk to a brand, It's one thing to say, how much are you paying me? It's another thing to say, how much are you spending in media buys that's going to create and raise my awareness to then become interest for others.
Yep.
So most ain't gonna ask that question because they only care about what's going in their pocket.
Yep.
Get what I'm saying? So the transaction of it all is gonna cause you to think for the now. It's not gonna cause you to think in a very compounding way. So they can have that one.
Appreciate
So,
it.
Underdog, how much you spending?
I was gonna say this. Hey,
Appreciate it.
Tim, I need you to look at the stage.
Tim,
how much
you
are you
heard that
spending?
shit, right?
Tim, how
You
much
heard
are
Rich. How much you spending on it? Goddamn, we need some media buys, damn it.
I see you, goddamn it.
But in all
We
sincerity,
see you back there.
Rich, always appreciate you pulling up to the show, kicking knowledge to us, showing us the business side, business aspect of it. If you have not downloaded the Underdog app, please do so right now. Use promo code GIL. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a special pick'em. And we want to give another shout out to Anscape for sponsoring our All-Star Weekend shows. Make sure you check out my new film, Memes and Nightmares, coming out on Hulu. February 20th, that's Thursday, February 20th. I appreciate y'all. Don't meet me there, beat me there. Thursday, February 20th, Gil. You in it. You know you got a cameo.
Let me cameo. I ain't
But
getting no check.
But this has been another episode of Gil's Arena presented by Underdog. Whoa, whoa. We appreciate y'all pulling up, and we'll see y'all soon.
Is this live? Is stream live?